Need be, share a screen. I'll try to see what's going on. Oh, you're live. Yeah, I see you. I see your Hangouts thing. So, I mean, your live dashboard there. And there's 19 people already in here. And I know people have been waiting for this, so yeah, I'll get this posted in my Discord here. Let's see here. Yeah, but yeah, it was enjoyable match. Well, morning Kumite. Well, Saturday special edition morning Kumite. Listening to people go off on each other and stuff like that. Well, it was more or less a bunch of people getting slaughtered in the blood sports. Yeah, let me post that in the side chat for you so you can get that set up. Yeah, yeah, I do have that. So I'll yeah, I just got to pull the links real fast from my video manager here. I'm pretty sure quite a few people know they. Well, I did tell quite a few people this morning that I was going to be available. So. Where? Well, you are good to go ahead and start asking questions, and I'll start answering them as best I can. Uh, yeah. Oh, what the hell happened was I was illegally arrested by Springfield Police Department, and every single day that goes by, the case gets weaker and weaker from my perspective that they have against me. It's they're saying they're not hearing you. Give me a sec here. Let me get back onto your tab here and let me give you at least a decent, viable. Okay, I hear myself. Okay. That's because check your OBS setting for your mic. I don't think it's picking up your mic. Yeah, they're not hearing you. Do you see the mic meter on the bottom of it, or is it moving up and down? Yeah, you will have a separate mic setting in that. If it's not, there should be a mic thing. If it's not in there, or it's there but doesn't have anything moving when you're talking, then your mic setting is not set properly. I'm always having. You have to check those settings before you start every single time. Yeah, I lessons you learn the hard way. You got to check them before you start every single time. And I even still mess up on that part because there'll be stuff I forget and I mess that up. No, not. I'm looking at the live stream. You're not looking at the right spot. OBS. You got to mess with OBS. And yes, I know I'm looking at a delay of a few minutes, and I think you just muted your mic on Zoom here, man, because I no longer hear you. Yeah, I no longer hear you on Zoom, so you need to make sure your OBS and your PNP new and the Zoom mic settings are the exact same. Okay, I hear you on Zoom. I've got to. It feels like every single person I work with, when it comes to live streaming, I need to sit there with a wrench and sort of beat. I'm bad luck. No, I just think it's sort of bad that it sucks that all the people that are involved with this First Amendment stuff are not really high in the tech stuff when it comes to the stuff that matters when it comes to getting involved in the live streaming stuff. So let's see here. Let me see if I got audio yet. No, still don't. I'm not hearing you on the thing. Or hold on. You got approximately a 30-second delay between when you say something and then when it hits the live stream. It hasn't hit yet. Yeah, they know we're working on it. No, the sound is still not working right. Yeah, you're talking, but it's. I see you talking on the screen, but there's no sound coming from when you're talking. Okay, you know what? If it doesn't work this time, I'm gonna have you screen share specifically just your OBS window, and I'm gonna tell you how to fix it. Okay, here's the deal. Hit cancel on this. And I bring the whole OBS window. I need OBS over to this main screen. Okay, good. I see desktop. Okay, click on the gear that says mic aux at the top. Click on that. Go to properties. Okay, see where it says default? Click on that default. Now pick one and click on, hit OK. Okay, talk into it. Okay, nothing's happening. Swap it to the other one. See what happens.
Hello.
There you go. That's
Should be
working
it.
because when you talk, that's what you need to mess with. That's what you got to keep an eye on, man. Hard lesson learned.
Again, it seems the way I learn my lessons, the hard way.
Yeah, I'm now hearing you on the live stream, so now you can stop screen sharing the desktop there. Okay, now I can mute the live stream, and we can actually get on with today's live stream. That what took. Let's see, that took about a good 5-10 minutes there.
Well, it gave everybody a chance to visit in the chat and say hello to everybody. All right. Make sure this. Here you find now. Okay. Damn it. Okay, let's try this all over again, Bunny.
Okay.
Tell us what happened. They screwed the pooch.
They screwed the pooch heavily. That is for sure. So, pretty much what for a while now, I've been hearing about bad things about Springfield PD. Side conversations I have with random people on the street that I talk with, or various get-together events that I've gone to, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, man, they doesn't sound so good over there. And so I end up, was it Robert West and Oregon Cop Watcher came down and visited, and I pointed out to a bunch of spots. It's like, well, if you guys want to get some filming, you want to do some First Amendment auditing, testing going on. I pointed out a couple of decent places to go and have some fun with. And so we went and filmed a bunch of spots, and we went towards the end of the day. We pretty much ran out of daylight, but they still wanted to do some stuff. So I was like, okay, well, there's also Springfield next door, and I heard they got some bad cops over there. And so they went over there, and I went and did backup camera guy kind of stuff, and I kept an eye on them and watched them walk around the building, walk around the. It's like all combined in one. It's like courthouse, jail cell, and jailing facility, and a police station. And also, I think the district attorneys are out of the same building too. Anyway, they went and filmed that, and they got hemmed up almost a full month ago now. After they doing their rounds and all that stuff, walking around and filming and doing their thing, and I ended up doing a live stream there. I was having a problem with my phone there from it getting Streamlabs working right. But the cops rolled up on him heavy and wanted to identify him and stuff like that, and say that one of them was trespassing and some other stuff. You sort of caught the tail end of it on my live stream where I was acting up as backup camera guy. I'm waiting for Robert West. I don't know if Robert West has finally uploaded his version or not of the video, so I haven't really been keeping too close of attention on their channels. I should probably go and see. Okay, yeah. But eventually, they have footage of it. They'll eventually get around to releasing it at some point. Well, their angles. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, it seems they get a little bit Nancy after a while. I was like, still, I mean, it's not conclusive that they are being bad about the people filming, but we'll see what happens when I go and do some First Amendment testing over at the post office. And so I bike over to Springfield Thursday, and just in preparation, I'm just sitting here like, well, something might happen. So I handed a check to my roommate, said, here's for today, here's for this month's rent. And I get over to Taco Bell. I'm like, I'm gonna eat a decent sized meal here. It's a little bit chilly out today, so I get to Taco Bell over in Springfield, eat that, and I'm like, something happens. I better just make sure I have some phone numbers written down on my arm. So while I'm sitting there at Taco Bell, I quickly write on my upper arm some phone numbers for making phone calls to in case something happens. And then after I get that done, I bike over to the post office, and I pass by. I'm like, okay, this looks like it'll be a fairly straight, simple filming. And as I'm looking for a spot to lock up my bike, I passed by a building that I noticed in the doorway it says "Warning: Security Cameras." And I look at the door and I notice it says school administrative building. I'm like, well, maybe I'll do that for a follow up. I'll film the post office and I'll film this building and I'll be done for the day. So I find, and just right around the corner from that is the this like small little museum or whatever, which has lockup spots for bicycles. So I lock up my bike there, and I pull out my stuff, put my helmet in the backpack and all that, and I start walking over towards the thing, and I get my Streamlabs up and going, and I talk, get that going, talk with my audience, and go, okay, guys, we're gonna go and do some filming. We're gonna walk over there, and so I walk around the corner, and I'm on the north side of the street there. And I just walked past the thing. I was like, "Oh, and check this out! They got a thing sign here warning about security cameras or whatever." I'm pretty sure I point that out. I put the phone back in my pocket, do the pocket ride there, go over to the post office, and I turn on the camera. Nothing's really happening. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go inside real fast. I'm gonna look for poster 7 and see what they got." And so I go in there, and sure enough, I find a posting which I looked at this morning. I made sure my live stream saw it. I made sure my camcorder got it, and literally show the thing. And it's not a poster 7 posting, but it's very close to the CFR 102-74.420 regulation kind of thing. And this also harpens back to the emphasis that the poster 7 kind of thing, that poster is not the same in all the post offices across the United States. It varies from post office to post office when it comes to their postings, when it comes to photography within the facility. And so I'm just sitting here, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get this. And I filmed the hallway area there where they had all the P.O. boxes. And I walk outside and film the building some more on the front side, film the back area there for about 10 minutes, and then walk back to the front, film for a little bit more time there. And then the cops come up to me and ask me, well, one of the cops, a cop shows up, asks me a few questions. I just give him the silent treatment. And then I decide, okay, I'm going to consider this an end and see if they end up following me or whatever, but I would consider that a pass. Well, I end up walking around the corner. I noticed another cop had walked up to the other guy, to the first cop that showed up, and they're sitting there chatting, probably about me. And they watched me. They sort of popped around the corner as they was walking north. And then when I got to the end of that block, I turned west and just backtracked over towards the City Hall, Springfield Police, the Springfield Municipal Library, and that school administrative building. Yeah, it's actually part of a very large complex, and that's a very cool complex. I like the design. That is something that's quite interesting for me.
Yeah, well, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, I get over, and I was like, well, let's see if the cops follow me around the corner as I backtrack in that direction. And no cops followed me on foot or anything like that. Eventually, a cop did drive by while I'm sitting there chatting with the live stream for a little bit there, just waiting to see if I get followed, but they just do a drive-by. And I'm like, okay, well, this looks like, that the post office looks like a pass. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to film the school administrative building, and I go, this is my next target here. So I walk back over to the side there, and I start filming the school administrative building. And literally as I walk up there, I didn't even get like 30 seconds into filming with my camcorder, and this guy who was actually like in the front area, looked like he was walking up to the desk, or he's mans a desk in the front area there, notices me. And he comes out, asks me a few questions. I give him the silent treatment as usual. And he goes back inside and hops on the phone right away. And throughout the entire time I was filming that facility, he was keeping an eye on me from inside the school administrative building. And what was even more interesting was the fact that he was also sort of stalking me while still being on the phone. I'm pretty sure probably with the police as I'm walking around the building and all that stuff. And I go up to the second floor there, and I know they're still doing they're doing some sort of construction or remodeling work on the inside. Turns out the building's a fresh build. If you look at the Google Street View, that just got put in. They just put in that ramp this winter on the second floor that goes to the second area. And the closest I got to being like on the property was on that public rampway, looking into the building, and you can see the blueprints on the camcorder footage there. And you can sort of see a guy in a plaid shirt, working in another back room, probably working on some electrical work or doing carpet or something like that. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And I noticed that on the city hall portion, now the building that covers the street there, they have a second like exterior walkway, but you can't access it, and they have a no trespass sign on it. I'm like, okay, so they got a no trespass sign in case someone wants to parkour over to that spot, and then or they manage to get over there. They're not supposed. They shouldn't be over there. It's a warning kind of thing. I was like, okay, sort of cool. So I walk over to walk over to the entrance there. I'm like, well, this says City Hall, so I filmed the City Hall part, get it on the my camcorder there, and then I go in real into the entryway there, and I noticed they got a rules of conduct kind of posting on the right hand side window. So I go over there and I film that with my camcorder. I was like, well, it doesn't say anything about no filming in here, so that's pretty cool. So maybe I'll come back and do a First Amendment test within inside the building and see what's all in there. And I pop out, and I think the guy, one of the guys from inside the school administrative building pops in the doors as I'm leaving. I'm not sure if that. I'm pretty sure you'd sort of see that as I'm leaving on the live stream there, depending on how that camera angle is facing. And I just walk around the backside there. I mean, on the south side of the ramp park there, going and seeing what's all sort of through the windows there. And it transitions from a few like offices into a public library. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I turn around and I see the one guy who's been keeping an eye on me on the cell phone. He sees me turn around. He quickly goes right around the corner as I pull out the live stream phone camera there to show my audience, like, oh, that guy's following me. But he popped around quicker than I could get the camera facing that direction and pulled out and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm being stalked by the guy from that building over there. So, and I was like, okay, well, I might as well just do one more walk by on the front side of the building and call it a day. And I get downstairs and I start walking on the under part on the public sidewalk there. And that's when the cop pulls up and blocks my continue to walk away from kind of thing. And then I turn around, try to walk away, and that's when he grabs my sweater and then pretty much detains me from that point. And you guys can, hear and see the rest from the live stream footage there.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things that I wanted to ask, and you and I have already discussed this, but let's go for the live here.
Yeah.
There's several people been commenting that we shouldn't have gone to the alert because it's not the best way to handle things, but you asked for it, right?
Yes. In hindsight's 2020. The thing is I did ask for it, and I pointed this out in I think strategic noncompliance and also in this morning's live stream. In a way, it did hurt me on the short term, but it might have benefited on the long term side of things, because it possibly has shown a clear case of retaliation. Because when I was pulled into the jail cells, I was initially charged with just the criminal trespass 2. It's what they got on the paperwork. I signed that paperwork. They handed me a copy of that paperwork saying, okay, I paid $300. I'm going to get out. After that, obviously they were not happy, and they came back with the disorderly conduct charge. Now, the thing is I have read the disorderly conduct charge on strategic noncompliance and also on my this morning's live stream, what the definition is. And at no point I can see that my actions falls within the definitions that they have, well, the definition for that charge. I was not acting in a frightening or threatening manner. I was not being turbulent. I was just standing there, calm as could be, filming, silent and calm. The only time I got any kind of turbulent, I guess you could sort of say, is when the cops confronted me and detained me.
Yeah.
And even then, I was fairly calm compared to some of my other past issues that where I've been hemmed up by law enforcement.
Yeah, well, I don't have a clue where they may come up with that anyway. I think they just came up with that so they could say that's why you were detained, and then they used it against you later, to retaliate.
Yeah, and the thing is quite interesting. Is when you actually type in the address that's on the paperwork. I gave out the address because I literally read the entire section, the important part that gives all the information about the actual charges. They give a location. Well, I thought that location was actually for the intersection right where I was right by where I was arrested at. It turns out the intersection is at the post office. And so they're saying I did trespassing at the post office, and they're saying I did a public disturbance at the post office. Well, if they're trying to use the trespass for that post office, I did not break any trespassing laws based off of 41 CFR, Title 41 CFR 102-74.420. Because we're allowed to film in there, and there was no trespassing signs. At no point did I enter an area that I was not allowed to be in when I was inside that the public area, that public hallway.
Yeah, and see that one of the reasons I wanted to get to that part was I was going to ask you about the trespass part. The when we called, and I'm supposedly not the only one that got that same bullshit line from the lady that answered the phone, is that you can be trespassed. Their laws are different. You don't have to be told to leave. You don't have to. There doesn't have to be signs up, and that's bullshit. You can't be trespassed from a piece of property that's got public access that everybody goes into after the fact, and you've left and you were never even told to leave.
Yeah, well, hold on, give me a second. Actually, someone posted in my community. Let me give me a second here to pull it up.
All right.
They posted the laws, the state laws, which the city ordinance is a verbatim copy of the state laws. So if you give me a second here, got to scroll through it because I've been getting quite a few comments as of late. People have definitely been wanting to give their opinion, and I love that. It's been interesting reading the comments. Let's see here. And specifically, okay, the criminal trespass in the second degree. A person commits the crime of criminal trespass in the second degree if the person enters or remains unlawfully in a motor vehicle or upon a premises. It enters or remains unlawfully. I never entered a premises unlawfully. Everywhere I entered was a lawful entrance. It was open to the public in the first place. I never went past any kind of sign saying I can't be in that location or anything like that. And I never remained in any one area for longer than I needed to. I gathered the information that I needed, like with the post office there. I got information on their policy specifically dealing with filming, which was posted there in the hallway, gathering information that backs up my past statements stating that the whole photography within post office signs are not 100% the same across the board in each post office. Some of them will have different wording written down or posted compared to others. Which I think me and News Now Houston has covered this, and a few other people have talked about this issue. Yeah. We specifically have covered the issue with post office because a lot of post offices are very frequent and all over the place, so they're easy targets to go up and film and do a First Amendment test or an audit on, and usually aren't a high risk situation if you're just filming from public areas.
Well, it sounds like to me the whole thing is back to when you wouldn't talk to them, you wouldn't give answers. It's retaliation for you not talking to them and giving their answers. It's, let's see, Chief would say pissing off the popo, and we usually use the other term, contempt of cop.
Yeah, without a doubt, it seems like a contempt of cop kind of thing to me. That is going on with this situation. It's as is, that cop was not happy that I was going to ignore him and continue walking.
Yeah.
And that's the whole situation. Was I was just going to give him the silent treatment. I was just going to continue walking. Now, could he maybe have a proper reasoning for detaining me just for a sidebar conversation? Possibly, but he never said I was being detained.
That's right. He never did.
He never said I was being detained until after he physically grabbed me, and I asked specifically, why is he illegally detaining me? In which case, it's like, oh, you're filming, you're causing people to freak out. It's like, constitutionally protected activities are not illegal. The act of gathering information and disseminating it as we see fit is not illegal. This has been upheld in the court, in the Supreme Court law. I can't remember the specific case. I still have to sit down and go through case law, but I just been sort of sitting back and resting and recuperating because my body is sore as hell from all the stress I went through. My back's been going nuts every now and then if I sit in the chair for too long. And I'm just like, yeah. Plus, also, I've been popping the pain pills too, which I don't want to be popping too many of those. So,
yeah. Well, I got a question for you, and this occurred to me. Now, first, let me say that I don't know if it would have made any difference at all. It's just a question that occurred to me while I was watching live, and you specifically asked him what his RAS was for detaining you, and I'm wondering, would it be better to, instead of him thinking that way, because you when you say that, you get them to thinking that way. Now I have to come up with an excuse. But if you would have asked, well, what did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? Did I break a law? Now there's more like a conversation, and he might have said, because we've heard this many times before, well, no, we just want to question you about what's going on because people are curious or whatever. There's no different kinds of crap that they say but you think that would have helped? Do you think that is a better way to approach that?
How should I put it? Hindsight. Well, I mean, once again, when it comes to the conversations, hindsight's always 20/20. Yeah. It could, depending on how you want to approach it. Yeah, you could probably do that. But for me, I prefer to try to go for the straight and simple when it gets to information. That's why I want your RAS, reasonable articulable suspicion, about why you are detaining me right here. And the thing is remember, he said yes. He didn't say specifically. He didn't have an answer right off the top of the head. He says he didn't say right off the bat what was the specific reasoning. He just said yes, and that indicates to me that he did not have an answer.
Right.
Which is very telling because I have that on 3 different cameras. It is audible on my live stream, which was in my pocket. The mic on the receiving mic on my on that cell phone is actually on the facing side of me, and it was that part was facing my stomach. If it was audible on that, it's definitely going to be audible on my other 2 cameras. And I'm not even sure if they had body cameras on or anything like that. But if they had any other recording devices that were going and caught that, then it's going to be interesting hearing that specific conversation play out on their recordings too.
Yeah, and the reason I asked is because it just occurred to me when I was watching, but I just love seeing it when they say, no, you didn't do anything wrong, and then they detain you anyway. Because it's like, you got them on video right there saying, you didn't do anything wrong, we're just fucking you over, excuse my language, because we don't like what you're doing.
Well, the thing is, though, with it, they already were saying they were saying my activities was doing something wrong. They already had in their mind I was doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So starting off in that direction probably wouldn't have really, would have came up with the same results, to be honest, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. Now, the thing is we can't reverse time and play out the different scenarios. We don't have that capability.
And I'm really not doing it because of that. I'm doing it for a conversation because we got a lot of auditors here watching. And I know that question has gone through many of their minds. And some of them are trying to determine, well, how do I want to do things? Should I do things differently? And these kind of questions I think should be brought up. But just because I brought it up doesn't mean it would have made any difference. And I
Yeah,
agree. I don't think it would have on you.
yeah, and the thing is when it comes down to these situations, most of these are going to be very unique in how they play out, how the officers are reacting, and so you have to. You can sit there and go in with a pre-done script, but guess what? But guess what? The thing is that script may not be valid for any of the scenarios that you possibly will go through when that happens.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you can prepare for it as best as you can, but you have to literally make on the call judgments.
Yeah. And that's why I always say
what,
study, and have as many different scenarios in your mind that you've seen, so you can. Hopefully you will be ready for it, because if you've seen a lot of different scenarios and you kind of gone them through your mind, they can help you on how to proceed in your personal encounter with a corrupt cop.
Yeah. And someone asked in the chat about my knee. It's hurting a little bit, but not as bad as yesterday. That's for sure. But what was it? The thing is also, I mean, something that came to my mind. If you noticed when I was exercising my, I said we're going to refuse to answer questions. I mentioned also within that my First Amendment right to refuse to answer.
Mm-hmm.
And sir, I was thinking about that after my debate with Ichabod Orange on the morning Kumite, and Bill Clinton / Joshua. I started thinking, it's like, well, I have a Fifth Amendment right not to self-incriminate, and he's right that it doesn't. The right to remain silent isn't in the Fifth Amendment, but it's part of the Fifth Amendment,
right?
And it's also part of the First Amendment. We have every single right to exercise our freedom of speech in that situation, and that freedom of speech also includes not giving an answer to. It's just like how I view things. You are free to talk, but you're also free to remain silent.
Well, and not only that, there is no law saying you have to answer the police officer. And if there's no law saying you have to, then it's you decide whether you want to or not.
Yeah, and the thing is I mean, after all that, I get a whole. It's quite the interesting thing, and I want to sort of move on and add on some more stuff that happened within the jail cell, and a thing that really teed me off. When I first got in there and they're processing me, they're asking, okay, have you had any drugs? Have you had any drinking? Are you going to have any? Are you going to go through with any withdrawals or whatever, alcohol withdrawals or drug withdrawals? And I refused to answer the question initially. And they said that since I refused to answer that, the person that was processing me said, well, if you're not going to answer this, I'm going to hold you in for medical for 24 hours. And then I asked, you're going to hold me in here for refusing to answer that question, even though I'm going to bond out? Because I figured I was going to be a cheap bond out, and I'd be go ahead and get out of there, $300. I can cover that. And the thing is, they go, yes, we'll do that. And I asked, and they also stated that I won't be able to make a phone call to get bond going or anything like that. So the fact that I was going to refuse to answer that question, they're going to intentionally hold me for 24 hours just to make sure I wasn't going to go through alcohol or drug withdrawals since I was planning on bonding out that day.
No, that surprised me, because we've seen cops use pain to make you talk. Well, if you're not going to tell me, then I'm just going to tighten these cuffs down as hard as I can.
And so and the thing is I did answer that question after that, because I was just going to go ahead and bond out and take note of that. But that right there shows clear intention of coercion, right there.
Right.
That would be, with further deprivation of rights.
Yep.
And that part really upset me. And this is the one thing I was saving for your stream right here, PNP, was this information right here. And I'm wondering how many times they have done this to other people.
Yeah, and if they'll do that, they'll do other things as well. There's no telling what they've done to other people.
Yeah, and the thing is what's also interesting is if you go and look at their Facebook page right now, the Springfield PD Facebook page, no one's defending them. No one's really sticking up for the police department. That is very telling because most of these towns, we have someone that gets hemmed up over there in some small town or whatever, gets arrested. People go nuts on the social media.
Yeah.
You got people that are chiming in defending that police department. That's usually an okay sign. Okay, the police department's at least doing an okay job. With Springfield Police Department, that's not happening at all, really.
Right. I think
I
that's
haven't.
kind of a telling situation for them.
Yeah, and if the local community that is aware of what's going on isn't sticking up for this kind of stuff, I'd say it shows signs that Springfield Police Department has bigger problems than just arresting me illegally over the act of filming. It shows they might have an a wide issue that causes a rift between them and the community itself.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, they're going to need a lot of work. It's how should I put it? I don't like seeing this kind of thing. If there's a police department that has alienated the community that they're supposed to be protecting, then what job are they actually doing that is actually being a service to the community at that point? They might as well just hand it over to the state police and maybe the local sheriffs at that point.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some of the other auditors are within a decent range with you. I'm just suggest this because I haven't suggested this to you openly yet, that they get in touch with you and y'all determine if y'all want to make some return trips in a more formal, populated, bunch of y'all get together and go back and visit and say hi.
Yeah, I mean, as is, it'd be. I'm talking with some people up in Portland there that are thinking about maybe coming down here. So we'll see about that. Or making return trips down here for a few of them. So that's a possibility. Of course, if anybody is wanting to come up from California or something like that and come check it out, they're more than welcome. Unfortunately, I don't have a couch or floor I can offer them to sleep on. So.
Well, maybe they can figure something out. I would like to see some more attention over there. It's a long damn trip from Texas, though.
Oh yeah, I know. It's a long trip for me to get over there from Texas, also, and I'm wanting to get out and travel, but now I'm not able to do that with an ongoing court case right now. So I can't go anywhere. That sort of puts a damper in things, and they took all my camera equipment. And my live streaming equipment, batteries included, so I can't even do Saturday night bar hopping / cop watching over here in Eugene, which a lot of people were starting to enjoy too, and I was enjoying it too.
You were enjoying the drinks, huh?
Well, it wasn't the drinking; it was just I'm sitting there wandering around, and there's one bar now I'm pretty much gonna make a mainstay staple of hitting because they have free arcade machines to play for. They have free video games to play. So I go in there. I start off the night, have get something off the tap, go play an arcade machine, or if there's an open console or whatever, play on one of those. Film me playing it one-handed while also holding the cell phone and then taking sips of my beer, and then go out, check, see what's going on, and find some new bar to go hit up. And then, I mean, we hit up that the last time I went out, we found that one that had a private pool room kind of thing you can rent out for $10 on the weekends. Friday and Saturday night, it's $10 an hour to rent that. And enough people threw down on the super chats. I was like, okay, guys, you just paid for the pool room for an hour, so let's go ahead and play some pool. And we played pool for an hour, and we shot the shit on the live stream.
Well, and if I recollect properly, they did not give you any receipts for any of your equipment?
They did not give me any receipts for the stuff that they kept. But here's the funny thing. On the property receipt for the stuff that I'm supposed to get back, they circled that I was supposed to get a cell phone back. Well, I'm like, okay, I signed that. And I get out into the lobby of the jail when I get out on Friday there. And I sit down And I'm like, okay, I got my cell phone. I should still have my other SIM card in my wallet. Sure enough, it's still in there. And I'm like, okay, I'll be able to make a phone call or something like that, depending on which phone they left me with, either the iPhone or the my cat phone with the thermal camera. I was like, okay, let's see. And I've searched it through it, and I'm going, well, this is strange. I don't see a cell phone. I'm also noticing my solar chargers are missing. They didn't shove my battery pack in here. So for whatever reason, they kept the giant battery, which has nothing to do with evidence at all. Yeah, I mean, all it is just a giant battery pack. It's not like a data storage unit or anything like that. It's pretty obvious what it's for.
Well, I can see it now. That was retaliation as well, and they are going to keep your equipment as long as they can. And when and if they ever give it back, I wouldn't guarantee the what kind of condition they're in when you get it back.
Well, the thing is the camcorder was dropped. I don't know if there's damage on the camcorder, if it's still what kind of functioning it still has or whatnot. So so that is probably going to need some repair if it hit the ground hard in the wrong way. And then my 360 camera, they dropped right there in the freaking gel area. So that could have a cracked lens. That might have to go in for repair. Or it might have to be completely, or both of those have to be completely replaced. So I'm already expecting damages at this point.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm talking about it right now on the various live streams and stuff like that, is to have it documented before it comes back in my direction. Because I witnessed these things happen.
Right. And if I remember right, we talked about that on your live stream. Your equipment did show up on your live stream, what you had, or at least a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, you could see in the live stream multiple points, especially when I got arrested. My 360 camera and my camcorder were in my hand. The only camera that was not used that day, that was not on any live stream, was my GoPro Hero 4 that was sitting in the back in my backpack. And that was mainly just a backup camera to pull out just in case.
Yeah.
And also the iPhone that I had, it's an iPhone 3GS, which it literally was a backup phone that I thought I pulled out, but I didn't pull out, so I'm pretty sure it was in that backpack, and they kept that too, which literally wasn't even turned on at that point. So there was no reason even to keep the iPhone.
Yeah, well,
and so they kept that straight as retaliation.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, as time goes by, you'll get satisfaction, and they will be very upset that they ever met you.
Well, the question is about not about them being upset that they ever met me. It's about fixing that police department where it's actually servicing the community properly.
Well, that's part of what I mean. By meeting you, their whole world is going to be turned upside down, and they're going to have to make some changes.
Yeah, as is, I mean, with the amount of stuff that I've been hearing about and all that, it seems to be a giant mess for that police department, and it seems like they've had free reign for a while. They haven't had any attention. Apparently, there was some guy a couple years back that was doing some filming around dealing with the local police departments over here, but their channel has since stopped putting up videos in over 2 years. So I'm not even sure what happened to that person, and they didn't have a means of contacting them. So I'm not able to really follow up on that specific individual, because I would love to reach out to anybody that in the area that's had sort of dealings like this, where with clear retaliation and stuff like that going on.
Yeah. Well, do you think that back to the conversation about the call flood stuff, the people calling in and voicing their opinion about misconduct, do you think in the future we should all kind of look at that and determine whether we should not, as a group, do that right away? Give people, the lawyers, a chance to call in. and see what they can do.
Yeah, well, how should I put it? If Felipe is willing to help out the individuals that are involved in that situation, I would say give him a chance. If someone says light him up or make the phone calls or something like that, probably the first thing should be done is to get a hold of Felipe. Give him a chance because he's wanting to help out.
Yeah.
And I'm with him on that. Give him a shot to do that. The thing is, we can't control everybody's actions. So even if I didn't make a statement of make a call flood or make the phone calls, this is the police department or whatever, without a doubt, I'm pretty sure people would have been on the phone and getting a hold of calling them up. It's just, I mean, when I sat there and made the statement, I probably had just ratcheted it up by 100 kind of thing and just increased the flow of the faucet that was being poured on them.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this last night with the group of us
Yeah.
who got together, not on a live stream, just in a Zoom call, and we discussed it a little bit. And I think we're all pretty much in agreement that that's probably the better way to handle it. Let the lawyers get a chance to call in and play it the way Hemming is suggesting. But the problem's going to be that there's going to be subscribers. They're going to be pissed. They're going to call in anyway, and there's going to be some auditors, especially some of the new people that may not understand. We don't want this going on. Just we want to give everybody a chance to have their lawyers or their contacts, whoever it is, call in and do their thing.
Yeah, and I got a comment on Sasquatch there. Please, they commented in the chat. Please take down videos, BB, so the cops can't use them to write the reports. My live stream has no impact on that. In fact, they're using the camcorder footage from my camcorder to write their police reports. In fact, there was a statement that I overheard in the while I was in the lockup there, that one of the officers was actually reviewing the footage from the camcorder. So either it still got some function or they popped out the SD card and was reviewing it right then and there. So the reason why I made the live stream fully public, I didn't go and remove anything with that, is because I already know they're looking at the footage and they're writing their reports based off of it already.
Well, by the time you got out, it had been up for so long, they would have already had a chance to look at it anyway.
Yeah, and the thing is the live stream footage, video wise, doesn't show a whole lot. If you go and look at it, the camera angle is constantly bad. It doesn't really show much. The only thing it gives you is audio.
Right.
In which case, I mean, there is a benefit in that aspect. It sort of sucks for the people that are watching the live stream or want all the information right then and there. But it does have it. I mean, it does have some useful effects too, as just being mainly an audio recording of the events that transpire.
Well, that 360 cam that you had going is going to be interesting to watch if they don't destroy it.
Yeah, well, as I said, they can't get the footage off of that right now because I have the docking station for that to be able to pull the footage off of it. They can't sync a cell phone up to it to pull the information off of it without having to zeroize the camera itself.
Yeah.
And so, in a way, that is already encrypted. They don't have access to that footage, which is sort of funny. I got a chuckle out of that one.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I mean, if they try to go to warrant to access the cell phones, there's nothing on those cell phones that is from the incident. The only thing that's on that, the only thing that the cell phone was used to do was to live stream. The only thing they could get is, okay, here's the data log of the information going out and saying bye-bye. It's not being stored here.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm wondering. I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that police department.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would love to have been a fly on the wall just for the dispatchers when they were getting all the phone calls. It sounded like it was quite interesting because, as is, I talked with even on strategic non-compliance stuff like that. The accusing me of stepping on school property and stuff like that, school grounds, and the statements that they were telling the people that when they're calling in shows that something's not adding up right. And I told, and I'm going to restate this. If you are a person that called in and they told you that I was filming kids, and I was walking on to school property and stuff like that.
There's so much bullshit.
Document that in the best way possible and set that aside. That I may call upon you for this criminal case if it ends up going to trial. Your statements, your testimony might be important in that situation, and it may become important in a future case too. I'm putting that out there now. You guys will be potential witnesses for this for in the near time and possibly in the far future too. And so, for those of you who don't have the ability to get out there and film, but are able to like the call floods, this is where you can still help out, and it's very important in that aspect.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted because my wife is out of town. She's just texting me. I told her I was on a live stream, so I was looking for something here to. There was one of these little things I was going to send her back, and I can't find the one I was looking for. But
it's a little emoji or a meme or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all that reminds me. Also, for future reference, I am testing out a potential Twitch thing for like First Amendment auditors, testers, cop watchers kind of thing. There is some potential for that platform, I think. But the trick is they are, how should I put it, even more unruly when it comes to even enforcement of their rules and terms of service and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and also they're like when it comes to like the advertising thing and getting subscribed up with Twitch is a little bit different. And that's why I'm asking people, hey, if you can, when I'm doing a live stream or whatever, hop on there, give me the view time kind of thing, and give me a follow when possible. So this way I have a chance to look at their the commercial aspect of bringing in revenue from that platform and see how that works. It just, unfortunately, well, actually, it's just like with many other platforms like YouTube. If you want to generate revenue from the work that you do, you got to build up an audience first.
Yeah.
And that's what's needed to be done with Twitch for sure. And I want to at least get up to the bare basic startup and see what the contract looks like, and then I'll be able to advise people if this is a good on the short term, well, a good possible thing to add into their platforms of being able to use to some extent, because they only store your footage for 2 weeks when you just you're a free account kind of thing doing live streaming to them.
Yeah, and I was went back over to You Now, the one I was playing with a while back. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with it some more, experiment, and because it'll send your video, if you want it to, you can send your video that you're doing live to your Facebook, to YouTube, and you can put that on private if you want to, or public. You can send into several other places where it'll save that video in several places if you want it to. And so I think I'm going to go out and just experiment with it a little bit.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to it, Twitch has a YouTube integration where you can either you can have your entire stream sent to YouTube, or make highlights and send those highlights, which is just a larger version of a clip or a short clip. They only allow you to do 60-second clips or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a highlight of your live stream, and send that to YouTube, and it could be a private or public when it's sent over there, and then you fill in the rest of the information later.
Yeah.
So it does have that built-in integration to be able to archive your stuff that way. And then the problem I have with like You Now and stuff like that is the same problem I have with many other live streaming applications.
Too intrusive on your info?
It's not intrusive on your info. Is when you turn off the screen or lock your screen, it stops live streaming. This is the number one problem I have with any application that's out there that has been suggested to me and I've looked at, is they will not stream with a locked screen. The only application I know of is Streamlabs, and then there's another one. I might have to look up its name. I had it installed. It's installed on that cell phone, and I was planning on doing a tutorial on that at some point. It's just, unfortunately, I can't do it right now. I have to go to my Play Store account and see what that name of the application is. But there's two applications that would work perfect for that issue, but takes time to set up.
Yeah.
And the thing is with both of these applications, if you combine it with the web service Restream.io, you can multi-platform stream, in which case you are further protected because it becomes difficult to shut down and delete or hide the footage if they try to do a false flag attack on your account in order to prevent that footage from getting out and to prevent you from getting access to it.
Yeah.
And so right now I have a setup where I can stream to Periscope, Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube at the push of a button.
Yeah.
Literally, I push my button to record. It goes to Restream. My Restream checkboxes say, go to these points, send the stream over to these points, and they stream to those points. And all of those services have some sort of archiving that will hold that footage for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah. And,
at the shortest.
Cubing for speed, OBS is what we're using right now. We're using OBS with Zoom call, feeding to YouTube. But
yeah, and OBS is what you use for live streaming on a computer kind of thing. There isn't really an OBS per se on a cell phone outside of the two applications that the phone apps that I talked about a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Restream.io, if I wanted to, I could also stream to YouNow and about 20 other streaming services and platforms. You can set it up to do it, and that's all free.
It is a bit technical to get things set up the way you've got it, correct?
It is technical, but here's the thing. Anybody that's getting involved in First Amendment auditing, cop watching, or testing that's going to do live streaming for backup needs to learn the tech.
Yeah.
I will say this now. YouTube's not dependable. Twitch is not dependable. But if you stream to both of those at the same time, it works. It's going to be difficult to shut it down. If you stream to 5 or 10 different platforms, have accounts going on all those, you're even better.
Right. And that's why I wanted something that'll do better than what we've had. I mean, it's nice that plus I like the fact that once you get yours set up the way you're talking about, it's just one button. So under pressure, you don't have to try to figure out a bunch of shit. You just hit one button and you're done. You're ready to go.
Yeah, I literally all I got to do is hit record. I see I see the button go to the square or whatever, and then I turn off my screen, and that's all I got to do. And I can continue walking or whatever. If I'm under pressure, it's literally turn on the phone, unlock. I have my Streamlabs button set at the bottom where it's on every single page, no matter what page I hit it. I push that button, brings up Streamlabs. I hit the button to record. As soon as I see it's recording, I turn the screen off or lock it, and it's going from there on until someone turns it off. The only reason the live stream cut out on Thursday was because they turned off the phone. They could not access it to turn it off. They had to turn the phone off in order to prevent that. And what's even better, that phone is encrypted. It requires a passcode to turn it on all the way, so there's no way for them to access it without having me put the pin in. And also, I'm pretty sure this the data card that is in there is encrypted along with it when I set up the encryption.
All right, cool. Well,
so and I'm going to be pounding this into people's heads. I understand a lot of the people that are involved in the First Amendment testing, First Amendment auditing, and cop watching are not tech-savvy people.
Yeah.
These are people that are, I mean, they just use Facebook to maybe talk with the relatives or friends or whatever. They're just barely into YouTube and all this stuff. I understand. But guess what? Just like when it comes down to doing this stuff and you have to learn the laws around it, you have to learn the tech too. You need to know your tools when doing this stuff. It's just like being a professional tradesman, being an electrician, being a construction worker. You need to know how to use the certain tools that are used around it. You need to know how to use that Sawzall, that pipe bender, that how that welder works and stuff like that. If you're a mechanic, you need to know what tools you're going to use to work on a vehicle. You need to know how exactly it's supposed to be used in order you don't break it or hurt yourself or break whatever you're working on.
Yeah, well, it is important to have your ducks in a row when you're doing this, because we're talking about possible jail time and major cost of funds and lawyers and everything. So you need to do everything you can to protect yourself in any way you can, and that's part of it.
Yeah, and here's the funny little tidbit. If this was just going to be the criminal trespass charge, I would have been fighting this on my own. But because they tacked on the what is it? The disorderly conduct charge. The sentencing and all that stuff is over 6 months. By federal case law and all that stuff, I meet the minimum requirements to get a court-appointed attorney.
Yeah.
That's an important distinction. And the thing is, I'm also very aware of this because I inquired about this. I researched this and learned about it back when I was dealing with the Department of Homeland Security, when dealing with the federal courthouse/visitor center incident back in, I think, was it 2014?
Right.
And so, just because I'm aware of that, I know that I had a pretty good feeling I was going to have a court-appointed attorney, and sure enough, they did the right thing and gave me the paperwork for that. I didn't have to ask about that when I was seeing the magistrate or anything like that. The only thing I had to ask about was, are they going to return my $300 since they're going to release me to on my own recognizance, where I make sure I just show up for court, which they said they are, and I have to wait to see if they're going to hand that to me in check or they're going to comp me on that. And so right now I'm literally flat broke for the weekend. I have maybe $1 in my bank account right now. So, but thank goodness I got some YouTube money that I have managed to shift, but that won't show up in my account until Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
But today's thing has left me pretty much flat broke for the entire weekend.
Well,
I can't really do anything.
Maybe we can help you out on that.
And people are, and I'm already getting offers because right now there's only two things I want to get my hands on to get back going. Is a cell phone that I can do some live streaming with at the bare minimum, and a basic camera that I can do some recording in case there's like something that happens.
Well, when we're done with this video, in the description, I'll put a link in there for you. We'll get that from you in a little while, and I'll put that in there so people can go look at it and help you out if they want to.
And I've also this morning I put out a PO box address that I got a while back, and I just haven't gotten around to putting out there. Where if someone wants to send me like a surprise gift or something like that, some sort of cool little camera or something like that, something cheap, don't send me expensive stuff, please. But I mean, just something that will help out with the whole First Amendment testing or doing some cop watch or something like that. I put it out there so that way people can send me that kind of stuff, or thank you notes or cards or whatever. And I'll try to make sure to maybe do if you want to, I can do a public unboxing or reading or whatever. I'll just make sure to not show any addresses. I'll stencil that all out. Right. And give proper credit and all that stuff to whoever send it, and do that on a live stream or something like that, so people can enjoy that kind of stuff.
Well, in the chat, somebody, and it's already gone, so I don't remember who it was, said something about wiretapping laws while we were discussing the videoing. The thing is, any state, if you have an interaction with the policeman or you're videoing the policeman or something like that, you can do it.
Here's the thing: the way as is within the Ninth Circuit, within the circuits that have already passed, where you're legally allowed to film public officials in the conducting of their official duties in a public setting. Yeah. Technically, that phone call meets that requirement because they're working in their official capacity. In my personal opinion. Right. Now, how that works out in actual practice of law, I don't know. Oregon is a two-party consent state when it comes to phone calls. But as I said, I plan on documenting any time that I make phone calls to government officials. I'm going to record them. I'm going to record those phone calls for the most part.
Yeah, and
I'm stating that right now. If they're working at a public desk or whatever, and I'm calling them up, I'm going to consider that a public thing. And I'll wait for me to get charged on that and see how that works. Chances are I'll probably be the first one. Well, one of the first ones gets charged on that specific issue.
Well, I was more talking about videoing it out in public.
Oh, okay. Oh, and the wire. Oh, yeah, filming out in public. Yeah, wiretap does not apply if you're out in public. I mean, the most extreme case was actually out of Illinois, which was covered with the ACLU v. Alvarez, and they stated that yeah, people have a right to record. That was a 3.5 hour reading, but basically they stated in that opinion that we have a right to record in public. You had that one wacky dissenting judge though, with that bullshit dissenting opinion that was just like, what the hell is this guy smoking? Is this guy even competent to be on that stand? But I mean, he has his right to have that opinion in there.
Yeah, well,
And
even if
yeah.
it's stupid.
And
You
NJ,
don't have to be very smart to be a judge. Huh?
yeah, and as NJ Driver points out, only in 6 circuits so far. Yeah, we got 6 circuits. That's pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty good amount, but we need to start working on the rest of those. So, yeah. And I still need to sit down and cover that 8th Circuit case. And just like that one's going to be a very daunting task because I didn't realize the ACLU v. Alvarez was going to take me 4 hours to read. Well, with the 8th Circuit, I'm thinking that's probably going to take me about 6 or 7 hours to go through it all. That's going to be a marathon. Well, the main reason why I haven't touched it is because that is going to be a lot of work.
Well, now you can catch up on some of that work because you don't have any video equipment to go out and have fun with.
Yeah, I know. That really sucks. And I was thinking about going bar hopping this weekend too. Well, tonight, but no, that's not happening. So.
Nope, looks like you're stuck at home.
Yeah, I literally can't do anything. So, as I've been resting up, I enjoyed some internet blood sports today, and I gotta go through and I gotta pull up. I gotta make sure I get that case law that I need to have ready for the court-appointed attorney there for whenever I talk to him, and it'll be interesting what the conversation is between me and the court-appointed attorney that I'll be getting.
Okay, so, 83, I'm going to leave a link in to where you can send him some help.
Oh yeah, here I'll go ahead and post. I'll post the PayPal.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, if you send it to PayPal kind of thing, or you send it to my Streamlabs, to the PayPal setup. Well, no, to my Streamlabs because you can actually donate by credit card on that one, and I can actually funnel that straight into my bank account. But if you donate to those two, I can have immediate access to the funds. If you guys do like a super chat through YouTube, that I don't get access to those funds until 3 months after the end of the month, kind of thing. After that point,
and they take a lot out of it. That's why I don't.
And and YouTube takes 30% from all your super chats. So when that person donated $10 for me to do that pool table, I still paid $3 out of that thing. But you know what? It was still an enjoyable $3, and maybe the ad revenue from that sort of made up for it. I'd have to go and look. But I mean, I'm not really completely taking guys for a ride on with the donations and stuff like that. I try to put it to decent use for the applications that I'm using it for. I try to make sure it goes back into the BBI as much as possible.
Yeah, you know that I don't ever ask for help for me, so I'm just asking for help for you.
Yeah, hold on. Someone's saying the PayPal isn't working. In which case, okay, that link should have worked, because when I put it in. Oh wait, hold on. Let me test it out.
Yeah.
Let me test out clicking on link. I forgot. We were actually experimenting this with the Pissed Off Taxpayer a while back, where if the link is too long, it will not. Yeah, it won't properly deal with it. Okay, let me click on this. Oops, no, I want to click on this. Did it work? Okay, yeah, okay. Let me test out the Streamlabs one. Let me test out the Streamlabs. In which case, you guys are just going to have to give it to me through Streamlabs. And I do apologize to you on that aspect. I forgot completely about the whole, if the link's too long, it won't work bullshit that YouTube does for us.
Well, we can fix that in the comment area on the video.
Oh, yeah, and I'll do that. Okay. And, okay, if you guys want to donate to me, you can do it through the Streamlabs. And here's the deal: if you type in a message or something like that, I'll make sure to go through on my dashboard and replay it on my next live stream that I do, or something like that, or at least go through it. Because when you do the Streamlabs thing, it sort of acts like a super chat. In fact, the whole Streamlabs donate have text show up on the screen. Streamlabs was doing that first. Oh, you got a super chat.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they have any problems and they have to go, they can go through me if they have to. I will, if they will put in there that it's for you, I will make sure you get it.
Yeah.
Even if they put it in something that I have to wait a while for, I will make sure that I send you the money as soon as I can, and that you'll have it, and I'll take care of the ins and outs of it later.
And that reminds me, I might as well put into the chat too, real fast, the address that that PO box address there that I got set up.
And we'll put all this information in the comment. I mean, in the description of the video later too. Yeah,
we'll make sure to do that. I'll link send that to PNP, and he'll have that in the description for the live stream. Let's see here, and here is the PO box address. And thank goodness that is not too far around the corner, kind of thing. So, whoops, it's like about a mile down the road. Okay, where is the live stream? I need to find it. Okay, here it is. Streamlabs say you don't have a donation. That is strange, because it was working just fine when I clicked on it. Hold on, let me.
All right, but anyway, when this is done, we're done here. We will get the link set up, and we will fix whatever needs to be fixed.
Yeah, when this archives, I'll fix that up. I'm actually quite surprised that is not working. It was working just fine. So I will. I'll work on that. Thank you for pointing that out. I wish someone would have told me a while back about that. I would have had this fixed beforehand. So it was working just fine a few like a week or two ago.
Yeah. Well, Rover, you're full of shit. Everybody knows better.
God, they want me. God brother wants me to shave my beard. I don't know.
Well, he said I have never filmed without filming, and I have, and everybody else knows it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this beard for a while. It's become sort of one of the mainstays of the channel in a way, is this beard. So you're gonna have to talk it over with my audience, man. You're gonna have to ask them if you guys should bribe me to shave the beard off.
It would have to be a lot of money.
But let's go. I mean, we've been going for what, almost an hour here. So we might as well go ahead and call it a night. And I'll work on getting the Streamlabs fixed and figure out what the hell's going on that part.
Yeah, thanks, Monkey, for getting rid of him. I bet we know what captain that is. All right. Everybody, thanks for being here. We're going to get out of here. He's going to hop on out of here, and I'm going to get these boots off, man. They're killing me.
It's 70 degrees out, man.
Mine are cowboy boots. All right. We'll see you later, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see.